Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following for a while, you know that I've been mentioning my old Echo Timberwolf had been to the shop. It broke. I'll show you here in a little bit exactly what happened. So it turns out I took it to the shop and the tech told me that it's going to end up costing $70 less than just buying a new chainsaw to fix it by the time parts and labor is factored in. So it was an easy decision to me. I needed to get a new chainsaw. So I had the option to get whatever I wanted and I could switch brands or whatever. But in the end, what I decided was to buy another Echo Timberwolf. So let me show you. Alright, so this one came, I bought this one specifically because it's got the 24-inch bar. Normally I run a 20-inch bar, but I thought maybe this would be nice to have for certain situations. Coming out of the box, with the manual. And there she is right out of the box. And a new chain and a wrench. So right now I'm going to get this thing set up and we're going to break this saw in before we go and cut anything with it. Alright, so I've been going through the manual here and there is nothing about a procedure to break in the chainsaw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill this thing up and just let it idle with a tank of fuel and let that run all the way out. And then whenever we use it for probably the first 5 to 10 tanks, we're not going to open it wide open. We're just gonna, 3/4 of the way, and we'll break it in that way. Just trying to save some wear and tear from full load on this chainsaw before it's broke in. But before I go ahead and run the chainsaw, I want to show you what happened to mine. Turns out I was cutting firewood at my dad's, and everything was going fine, and all of a sudden my chain brake started flopping around the handle. And so I looked, and it was this bolt right here. It had come out and it was gone. And I said, what in the world happened? I never even dropped this thing today. And I told the tech that whenever I took it to the shop. I said, I never dropped this thing or hit it off anything. I don't know what happened. And he said, I can tell you didn't drop it. What it looked like to me was this thing had come loose and started working its way out, and it ended up taking the threads out inside, which is connected to this whole side piece, and he would have had to replace everything. And like I said, by the time for parts and labor, everything was factored in, I'd be $70 short of buying a brand new chainsaw, at least this Timberwolf here. And the reason I went with the Echo again is because it's easy to start, and it just doesn't bog down whenever you're cutting through firewood. So I really like this chainsaw. And it cuts fast too, so that's why I went ahead and got another one. We're just gonna have to pay attention more to this bolt, because he said you could run it without the chain brake, or he said you could rig it up to where it might work or not. And I said, no, I'm not messing around with that. Safety first. So, and speaking of safety, my dad drove over my other hard hat with the side-by-side, I think it was, and broke it. So I went ahead and bought the whole Echo chainsaw chaps and hard hat. I even got a pair of gloves and safety glasses with it, so I needed it. My chainsaw chaps, the other ones, they weren't fitting very good because the straps were broke off of them too. So I was due for new safety gear and I guess a new chainsaw. So Merry Christmas to me early. Alright, so we got fired up. We'll let it go through a tank, then we'll go try it out. Well, first impression so far, I'm barely even squeezing the trigger on this chainsaw, and that thing's got some power. I think it's got more power than my old one does, so they must have made some upgrades to it. I'm pretty happy with it right now. It's still not sounding quite like my other one yet, but it's breaking in slowly. Like I said, I'm just barely squeezing the trigger. I don't want to go full bore on it, not for quite a while yet, but it's definitely got some power. So I'm sure some of you are going to wonder why I went with a 24-inch bar this time. Well, there's a couple reasons for that. And the first reason is I've had two different guys come look at my timber here on the property now, and there is some good timber on the property. It's just not big enough yet, and we have a lot of junk. Block wood is what they call it, and they said if you want your timber to be ready maybe sooner than the next 10 or 15 years, that's what he told me it should be ready by, but he said if you want that to happen sooner, get in there and cut the junk trees out, and then that'll make the other trees grow quicker. So I've had two different guys tell me that, so I'm going to be working in my spare time on trying to thin out some of the junk, and then we'll burn it here at the house. Like this one I'm cutting here is elm. You know, it's not the greatest firewood, but it does take off quickly, and it does burn decent, you know, in the spring and the fall. So, and it takes off pretty easy in when you're starting a fire too. But the other reason I got a 24-inch bar is, I don't know if you guys watch Buck and Billy Ray Smith on YouTube. He is a professional logger, but he promotes the standing up and bucking style of cutting firewood. That way you don't hurt your back as much. And let me tell you, just a little bit of cutting I've done here on this tree, I can already do that with this 24-inch bar. I don't have to bend over as far. I just got to pay attention to where my tip is now because it's longer, but I think this is going to work out. It's going to help out the back, and I'm all about that. So for an example of what I'm talking about, right here the elm fell down. Well, there's about 3 or 4 other elm trees right up here along this bank. Hopefully some point this winter I'll come and I'll knock those down. That's why I wanted a 24-inch bar. That way I can handle any tree that I come across to cut down and to make more sunlight hit the wood's floor and let the good trees grow that much quicker. And then at the same time, we're going to start practicing our bucking while standing up and saving our back. Alright, so I told you I'd keep things honest on the channel, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I had a CS-590 before, the Timberwolf, and it was a great chainsaw. I think I bought that back when we bought this place. So that thing was almost 6 years old, and that was the only trouble I had with it, was that bolt coming loose, and I guess I should have caught that. I'll be watching for that on this one. But yeah, we're going to keep continuing to break this thing in nice and easy. Like I said, I haven't been full bore on the throttle yet. It's definitely got some power. Well, I think it's got more power than the other one did, so maybe they made some upgrades to it, I don't know. But we're going to call it a night on this project, just for the simple fact a lot of these limbs are buried in the tall grass, and I want to wait till I get the root grapple to scoop them up and pull them up out of there. They'll be easier to cut, and we're going to go inside and we're going to go gather some firewood, get the fire going, because it is cold. It's supposed to get cold tonight, and we're going to go work on the dining room and the kitchen. So I hope you like this video and all of our firewood videos, and until next time, thanks for watching.